Welcome, 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 welcome. This is your prophetic purpose pusher, Pastor D, coming live from the studio. Our podcasts have been on fire. We've been getting tremendous feedback about how blessed people have been based on someone being brave and bold enough to share their journey. Everybody takes journeys in life. Some are successful, some aren't. Sometimes you have mishaps, accidents, bumps in the road. That's why you have tow trucks. And you have tow trucks to kind of get you back on your journey. Today I have in studio two of my spiritual daughters, and we're going to continue the conversation about life, marriage, who they are, what God has done in their lives. Story of redemption, story of relationship, a story of more than just survival, but a story of finding God, finding hope, finding love, and learning how to use the Word of God to navigate their lives. So, without further ado, I am going to introduce you to two of our spiritual daughters, and then we're going to kind of dive into the conversation again. Pull up a chair, hit the subscribe button, hit share, hit like, tell your family, tell your friends. If someone is struggling in relationships, if somebody's struggling in their lives, mental health, whatever it is, tell them come on over and just kind of pull up and see that they're not alone, they're not by themselves. So, good morning, ladies. Good morning. I want to introduce to you first, I have Nykky Hampton, Mrs. Nykky Hampton in studio. Nykky, go ahead and introduce yourself to the Safe Space audience.
I am Nykky Hampton. I am a daughter of this house, of CICAN, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Amen. Then next we have our other daughter, Lashone Elam Caldwell. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Lashone Caldwell. I am originally from Georgia. I am the daughter of Bishop Rick Williams and Denise Scott Williams, and also Annie Elam. I have two beautiful children. I am married. My husband is Michael Caldwell, and thank you so much for having me.
Well, let's just get started. All right, in Safe Space on today, we're going to be talking about navigating life. We will get to the spiritual aspect of it. Okay, we'll talk about spiritual stuff, but talk to me about you, because both of you tell me about your journey, because this is your story and you can frame your story however you choose. That's why it's Safe Space. I want you to feel at home, but I want you to invite the listener into your journey. So, Nykky, I'm going to start with you. You tell me about how did you come into the faith of the Lord Jesus Christ? Tell me how you came to faith.
Well, born and raised in Rock Hill, South Carolina. I moved to Charlotte after I graduated high school in 2020. I'm sorry, 2002. And moving to Charlotte and leaving all of my family back in South Carolina was a huge move. And I moved here because I thought that the job opportunity was here and I wasn't saved. I knew of God, but I didn't know what I know today. But when I moved here, I didn't know. I didn't have a job. I didn't have anything. I just came straight out of high school.
So how tough was that? And how old were you?
I was 18.
Okay.
when I moved here, and it was very tough. And I was scared. Um, and all I hoped for was to find or come in contact with good people that will help me on my journey. And I didn't know what that looked like, but um, I was with my first husband, and um, initially I was a dancer. Coming out of high school, I was a dancer. I needed money, and my mom approved because she trusted me.
So before so you were 18 years old, you came to Charlotte looking for opportunities.
Yep.
Your mom okayed it, you're a dancer. Were you married then?
No.
Okay, so here you are, you're young, you're scared. I mean, you're looking for opportunities. Opportunities are not there, so you default to the opportunities so that you can eat and live.
Yes.
Okay, talk to our audience about that.
And as I started dancing, I did it for about, I would say it was about 3 years. And I met my daughter's father. And we eventually married after 5 years of being together.
So you were, so it's just in context.
Mhm.
So here you are, you're 18. You're leaving from South Carolina to North Carolina. You're scared. You become a dancer. You do that for 3 years. I could just imagine during those times. Talk to us about the difficulties as you're encouraging someone. Um, no condemnation. That's why I say space. They see you're looking behind it. You are looking back at the glory in your story and you're framing it. But tell us the 3 years, how did you cope?
I already had the tenacity to not give up. I didn't know I wasn't going to, I had some levels of standards where I wasn't going to sleep around, but yet I knew I was going in to make some money on the pole.
Yes.
Um, and so it was scary because you got all these different people around you, and you don't know them, and they're strangers, and out of out of out of nowhere else to go, and not having the people in my life to kind of give me a handout. This is what I resorted to, and it was a scary place. It was a dark place. It was a lonely place. It was something. I'm glad that I'm here to talk about it on this side of the house, where I was able to learn that I don't have to sell my soul or give myself away. But that was rough. It was rough. When I met with my daughter's father.
And you don't have to call any names.
Okay. When I met my daughter's father, he said to me, "If you're going to be my girl, you're going to have to come out of here." And I was grateful for that. Didn't know what that meant, but I knew that I didn't have to do what I was doing anymore. And he took care of me.
So you went from surviving and dancing, seeing all these strangers, and trying to live after leaving your mom's home, and then he invites you to shack up with him.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
And
So were you happy that you now have what you would call a safe place?
yes,
Because now you don't have to dance anymore.
yes.
Okay.
And so he took care of me. I was basically stay at home. He had children from a previous marriage, and so I kind of stepped into that role for his children and to take care of his children. We began to build, and he was doing things that he shouldn't have been doing.
Okay, so here again, this is really, really good. And thank you for being brave and bold to share this because when you have journey, and this is your journey, that's a book anyways, you need to chronicle your journey that here you are, young and impressionable, and I can just imagine having to decide you didn't go to school saying, you know what, I'm just gonna be a dancer. I mean, I got a good body. I'm just going to do that. You didn't know, but in survival mode, you stepped into this role and here you are dancing at night, because ain't nobody dancing in the daytime. Everybody's sleeping, dancing in the night. And here you met him coming in, who, looking and enjoying himself, and you both hooked up.
Yes.
And then he invites you. Wow, you might think, okay, he's a hero
Mhm.
because he invited you to come on, look, get away from this.
Mhm.
I want you for myself. I like what I see in you. I love the conversation. Let's come home. But you now move from one trap to another trap because now you are shacking up and you are instant mommy.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
And that was an interesting journey because he was doing things to survive on the street that he shouldn't have been doing. And while I was alone for the ride, I stepped into mommy role and took on these responsibilities. Eventually, he was caught. And
Were you married at the time when he was caught?
we were talking about it. He was caught at this time. Before he got caught, I actually started going to in our apartment community where we lived at. I started being a leasing consultant because I was trying to find my way, and I got my first job working in the community in which we lived, and then eventually moving over to being a property manager of that community. I met a good friend, and she introduced me to her church, and I went to her church, and that's the only other church I've ever joined. And that's where I gave my life to the Lord.
While you're still shacking up.
While I'm still shacking up.
Okay.
And my life began to take, because when I said yes to the Lord. And during that time, the Lord began to do
So he's locked down.
He wasn't locked down yet.
Okay, so you found the Lord before he was locked down.
Yes.
Okay, so now your life
Yes.
is coming into a transition.
Yes.
Okay.
And we were talking about marriage during this time, and when he got caught, I think it scared him so much where he was thinking, I don't know what he was thinking, but he proposed.
Wait a minute, wait. Okay, so here you are, your rescuer
Yes.
now is a bird, a prey. Okay, so you're shacking up, and he is wheeling and dealing,
Yes.
and now he got caught,
Yes.
and he proposed before he went to the big house.
He did.
Okay, and you said what?
And I went to my pastor at the time, and I asked my pastor about this, what I should do, because I was new in faith. I didn't know. I was just trying to learn, and so many things was happening at that time for me, as I was trying to navigate this place called Jesus and holiness, all in my situation. And we had some counseling sessions, and the pastor told me not to do it.
Okay, you hear that? Pastor said, don't do it. And you and you didn't do it.
I did.
Okay, so you didn't want counsel, you wanted agreement.
I wanted agreement.
And he didn't give you the
He did
agreement.
not give me the agreement.
And what did you do?
So 5 months after we went to the Justice of Peace, and 5 months after I
You
married him.
did a JP of the courthouse.
I did a JP of the courthouse.
Okay.
5 months after I married him, he got locked up. And it was looking at 25 years in prison.
Shucks. And so you disobeyed
Yes.
because you're young in the faith.
Yes.
You've already living with this man.
Yes.
You already played mama.
Yes.
So what the heck? I mean, why not just go for it? Because why am I asking you any question
Yes.
anyways? You're telling me no.
Yep.
And I have nowhere to go.
Yep.
Okay, and you marry him and he got a verdict and he's locked down.
He's gone.
Okay, so you're a new bride.
New bride. Married.
Did you have a honeymoon?
No.
No honeymoon. Okay, so because you're already doing the do,
Mhm.
you're already living, so you just got married and just kept on doing whatever you're gonna do.
Yes.
And he's locked down. It's 5 months.
5 months. 5 months after I married him, he got locked up.
Okay.
And my life shifted because then I was married but single.
Woo! Say that again.
I was married but I was single.
Oh yes, I like it. Go ahead.
And this is when I begin to see the hand of God in my life.
All right, pause there. I love this. I hope you are listening and I hope you are just captivated, married but single. The man that the pastor said not to marry, she married him and now he's locked down. She is pregnant and single, but still going to church. We're going to pause and we're going to pick up Lashone's story. Lashone, talk to us about your journey before you came into the faith. Share as much as you want, and you don't have to share anything you don't want, because this is delivering others. And remember, you're no longer there.
I originally moved from Lincoln, Georgia. I had my first child at 16. I moved to Charlotte.
So were you in high school or did you graduate?
I did graduate, but I was pregnant at the age of 16, so I was still in high school. I was coming out of the 11th grade, going into my senior year. And I was working at the time, because I started working when I was about 15 years old. And I decided that I started a job after I graduated. I started a job. I was a supervisor at a casino, and I lost my job. And I was in a state of whether I should go in the military because I knew that I wanted to give Rihanna a better life.
Okay. So wait a minute. So here you find yourself looking for love and you came up pregnant.
Yes.
Talk to me about that emotional journey. You got pregnant, you're in high school, you got friends, you're from a small community. Now talk to me about your feeling. You can't describe the other person because they're not here to tell their story. So talk to me about the emotional journey. Were you accepted?
I was not accepted. I'm from a small country town. And so everybody knows everybody and everybody is in everybody's business. So when I became pregnant, majority of the people talked about me. I would see as I walk through the hallways, people would be whispering. A lot of my family members condemned me the most.
How did that make you feel?
It made me feel horrible. I felt less than. I felt like I wasn't worthy. I was totally rejected from a lot of people because I was pregnant. But the person that stood out the most for me was my mom. Because that day when my mom found out that I was pregnant, my mom said, I want you to hold your head up higher now than you did before. I didn't know what that looked like. I still was dealing with my own inner rejection. So it was hard for me. I knew that I wanted to be a good mom, but I didn't know I watched my mom be a good mom, but myself, I was still a kid. I still didn't understand what being a mom was.
What was dad in the picture at that time?
No.
Your dad.
My dad was, yes.
Okay. So what did your dad say?
My dad, he was hurt, but my dad was dying and we didn't know it. So I lost my dad when my daughter turned 1. My dad was battling cancer, but he never told us. He kept telling us to allow him to adopt my daughter before I had my daughter so no one would know, so he can give me that life as a young adult. But I knew that that was not right. And I didn't want my daughter to grow up and think I never wanted her. And my family did not believe in abortions, even though my back was against the wall and I did contemplate it. Because I wanted to live my young life. I saw all of my friends having a good time and nobody had a kid but me. So, yes, it was hard.
So now you're pregnant, you're scared. Families rejecting you, communities talking about you. Small community, can't get away from them. And you have to walk the hallway to school every day just to graduate. Talk to me about that journey.
One particular teacher pulled me to the side when she found out that I was pregnant because I was real skinny. So I wore big clothes, so you really didn't know unless when I started developing more. She pulled me to the side and said, I think you should just drop out and just wait till after you have the baby and then come back. It was like I was an embarrassment. So I told my mom, and my mom said, no. I said, hold your head up higher and you will walk this out. So some of the younger people that were already my friends, mostly guys, they accepted me and they helped me walk me through this journey.
Okay, so here you are, you're pregnant, you have to walk through the journey, and you're going up and down the hallway. You got mom, dad as a quiet force, wanting to adopt the baby, just to put honor on you, seeing that, and you knew that, no, dad, I have to walk this out. And so now you have the baby. Talk to me about your story.
So after I had the baby,
So before even you had the baby, how were you? You're 16, you have someone inside of you, and were you prepared for a baby?
absolutely not. Absolutely not. The day that I gave birth to my daughter, my mom was at work and my dad was at work, and I went into labor. And I'll never forget because my aunt was playing the lottery, and I called her and said, I think I may be in labor. I don't know, but something is happening. And she said, wait until I come from uptown. So I was like, okay, I'm supposed to wait because I didn't know. But neither here nor there. I ended up going to the hospital and called my mom. My mom was trying to get off from work, but I had a cousin that was there, and my mom called and told her make sure she looks after me in case anything goes wrong. So I was at the hospital alone.
My God, you were by yourself, 16 going into 17, and 16, and you're alone.
Yes, ma'am.
Talk to me about any fears, any
Yes, ma'am. I was very,
trauma.
yes, ma'am. I was afraid because I, at that time, they didn't have an epidural or anything like that. So I knew that I didn't want them to get, well, my mom told me that I was having natural birth. I mean, it was an option and I didn't know any difference anyway. So I was in a lot of pain. My mom got to me as soon as she could, but for some hours I was there by myself. So I was really freaking out because my body was doing things that I didn't understand. So, and then I didn't have my daughter's father there either. So, I was like, okay, I'm about to bring a child into this world and I don't know what to do. But I had a great support system with my mom, my sister, and my father.
Okay, so they support you. You have this new baby, and you are a mom. You're 16. Tell me about that. Now you've brought the baby forth. You decided to keep the baby in spite of the shame, in spite of the hardness. You were brave enough, and I want you to know that was very brave of you to decide to keep the baby, take the scorn, take the shame, take the rejection. I want you to know that you are braver than you even knew then. Because it takes bravery to face the giants, face the firing squad, knowing that a life is coming in you. And you decided, you know what, no abortion for me. I'm gonna bring this baby. Family scorning me. People are turning up their nose, telling their friends, telling their children, don't play with this fast girl. I know the talk,
Yes.
this fast tail girl, because they don't want them to come up pregnant, right? Because what you had was contagious.
Yes.
And now you have the baby and you're 16. Talk to me about the first time you saw the baby.
The first time I laid eyes on Rihanna, I knew that I wanted to be the best mother I could be. I wanted to give her every single thing that life can give her. I wanted her to be, I wanted to protect her from rejection, shame, anything that would cause harm to her. I knew that I wanted to be a great mother. So I immediately wanted to make sure that I had a job, that I could take care of my own responsibility. Did I do everything perfect? No.
So your mom stepped in.
Yes.
And so now mom steps in.
Yes.
Mom was always there.
Yes, she
Your
was.
biggest cheerleader. Daddy's dying. And you guys don't know.
No.
So daddy's dying. You're close to your dad. Daddy's dying. You've dealt with rejection all your life. You're the darker one. You have the light skinned family. And you came out on like your mom's complexion. So you had to battle that. Then you got pregnant. You have to battle that. Now you have the baby. How soon did you go to work after you had the baby?
Well, I started working at Hardee's in McCormick right afterwards.
Like right afterwards, what do you mean?
Probably some months afterwards, I ended up getting a job. And my mom had my grandmother to watch my daughter, and my sister was involved too.
Yes.
So everybody kind of pulled together because I did not have a clue what I was doing. So my dad would sometimes I didn't feel like going to get the baby, and I was like, I got schoolwork to do, I got to go to work. So my dad would, when he came home, the first thing he would do is, "Where's Rayana?" And he would walk and go get my daughter because we all lived in a small community. Everybody was related in my hometown in that community. So I had a good support when it came down to my daughter. I didn't have any time to where I couldn't be a teenager or be young and do the things that I wanted to do because of the support that I had from my mom, my dad, and my sister.
So you were able to graduate.
Yes, I was.
How old was your daughter when you graduated?
I think she was maybe one.
Okay, so you have a baby, you graduated, and you're finished with high school.
Yes, ma'am.
So talk to me about, now you have a baby, you're still young, you finished high school. Talk to me about the transition to North Carolina.
So I ended up losing my job because I was working at a casino and I lost my job and I was wanting to give up on life. It was it for me. I had a child. I didn't know my way out. Where I'm from, there's no jobs, and I just couldn't understand why it seemed like everything bad was happening to me. What did I do so wrong to where everything happens to me? So I was contemplating going into the military, and my mom really did not want me to go into the military. So I said, I don't know what to do at this point. So
And your dad in the background is dying.
my dad was dead.
Okay,
My
so
dad had already died. My dad died before my daughter turns one. My daughter turns one in September. My dad died in December. So I lost my father, which was very hard for me during that transition because I didn't know. I felt like we didn't have, I know he kept pressuring me. My dad kept pressuring me to adopt my daughter. But I didn't understand why. Now I do as I've gotten older because he wanted to make sure that my daughter never wanted for anything or we didn't need money because I would have got Social Security because I got Social Security for myself for the last year of high school. But he kept pressuring me and I just knew that that wasn't right. I just wanted to make sure that, and I told my dad, I said, I know what, I said, I just don't want to do that because I don't want to be a liar. I didn't want people, and my dad said, well, nobody would know, he basically had it all planned out. So I ended up losing my job, got a phone call, I called my sister and I was crying and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And my sister said, why don't you move to Charlotte? I said, I don't know. And she said, what if I help you get a job? I said, well, if you help me get a job, then I'll do it. So my sister made a phone call and to this guy that she knew at Bilo, he was the manager, and he hired me on the spot. And that same day, I put everything that I had out of my bedroom and I put it into my car and I moved to Charlotte. And my mom kept my daughter.
So you left the baby back in Georgia
Yes, ma'am.
and you just pack everything up.
Yes.
Dad was dead. You were close to dad. You didn't deal with the trauma of the death. You didn't deal with the trauma of you being pregnant and being ostracized and criticized and maligned and here you are. You lost the job. You're feeling hopeless. And you decided, I'm going to pack everything, leave the baby back with mama, and I'm going to come and forge my way because I got a job on the spot. My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. And so you moved to Charlotte.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how did that? Did you have friends, family? You're moving to a strange town.
No, because I wanted to leave back everything that reminded me of my past.
Okay.
So when I moved to Charlotte, I didn't know anyone but my sister and her husband because they invited me into their home
Okay.
to live. But I knew that I didn't want to live there alone because my sister was married and had her own family. So I didn't want to cause any type of confusion in my sister's home. So therefore, I came straight from Georgia, full force, worked hard. I stayed with my sister probably 2 or 3 weeks, and then I got my own place.
2 or 3 weeks.
Yes, ma'am.
So you moved from Georgia. You are fresh from grief from your daddy, who you're close with. You left your 1-year-old baby back with mama. and got a job in 2 to 3 weeks. You came to live with your sister and now you've moved out and you are living on your own.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you got your own apartment.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And talk to me about how soon before you got your daughter and was reunited.
Well, my mom wanted me to make sure that I was, established before she allowed me to bring Rihanna here. She wanted to make sure that I had my own, had my place, had my job, was able to handle her going to school and stuff like that, and daycare, because Rihanna was in daycare. She wasn't in school yet. And so, I had to fight with my mom to get my child. So.
Wait a minute, how old was your daughter at that
She
time?
probably was like 3.
Okay, so your mom kept the baby for 2 years.
Yes.
And so she's attached.
Yeah, she's attached.
Okay, and she is saying, you're not capable.
Yes.
I am capable. And so you have to now fight for what you were shamed for, your daughter, right?
Yes.
And so talk to me about that. She's saying you're not qualified.
Yes, she said she wanted to come up and check everything out to make sure that I was established and I had myself together. And, she just didn't want to put Rayon in a bad environment. And not only that, I'm sure it was because she had just lost my dad. And my mom was young. My mom was in her probably mid-40s when my dad died. So she was a young widow. So Rihanna was her company. So I said, no, I'm going to come get her. It's time for me to be mom. And so eventually Rihanna came up here and I was able to put her in daycare. And my sister and her husband would get her so I can work and do what I needed to do. So I came to Charlotte, and when my sister couldn't do it, my brother-in-law helped out a lot too.
Okay, so you went and got your
I
child,
went and got my child.
brought your child here. Mom is back in your hometown.
Yes.
Wow, wow, wow. And then we have, thank you for that beautiful story. We're going to continue on that story. And then we have Nykky here, fresh husband, fresh bride, pregnant. Matt is locked down. He's looking at 22. And you are married but single. My goodness. And pregnant. Not pregnant yet. Married but single. You're not pregnant yet. And you're holding down the fort. And you are moving into being saved. And you're going to church. And what did the pastor say to you when he got locked down, when he had said no?
At that time, it was already a done deal. So I had the support of the pastor and the first lady of the church and the community. They
Okay, so
supported
they
me.
got over it,
They did.
and so they were supporting you. Oh,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
Mhm.
And so they're saying, okay, this hard-headed girl ain't gonna listen to nobody.
Mhm.
So the best we can do is be present.
Mhm.
What a gift.
Yes.
What a gift.
Yes.
So they never anytime says, I told you.
My pastor did tell me that. I
Of
told you.
course, I mean, I was waiting for that line, like, okay, because I'm like, I told you not to marry. Of course, because I'm like, okay, don't start lying now, you'll be doing good. And so, here you are, and you're home alone, and you're mommy, plain mommy, and wife,
Yes.
and you're a new bride.
Yes.
And here you are, a new mommy. Mom kept the baby for 2 years. Baby's now here. You're working. You're established. My. The time has gone. I know what you're saying. Wait a minute. It was just getting good. It was just getting good. But you know what? We're going to take a pause break. And we are going to allow these stories to kind of sink in. And I want you to kind of tell a friend that something marvelous is happening. The story of redemption, what redemption looks like, and how God redeems his daughters, and how life may look ugly. You have a polluted beginning, but press to the promise. There's a powerful ending. Run on so you can see what the end is going to be. This is your prophetic purpose pusher, Pastor D, saying, this is safe space. And anywhere there's a safe space, you'll get grace. And because you're looking back at your story, which has value, and which has power. Because if you don't know where you came from, you sure enough won't know where you are going. And the thing about it is, these women of God understands the story of Lot's wife. They haven't looked back, but you are going to have to tune in to hear the rest of this great story. Until the next time, see you.